A very good morning, especially to our guest of honor, the Honorable Tan Sri Dato' Amar Haji Muhammad Moshidi bin Abdul Ghani, the State Secretary of Sarawak. Also to Yang Berbahagia Dato' Haji Ismawi Haji Ismuni, Deputy State Secretary of Sarawak for Socio-Economic Transformation. Yang Berbahagia Dato' William Nigor, the Director of the State Human Resource Unit, and also to all fellow colleagues and all who are here this morning. I would like to welcome you to one of the state government's drive towards promoting going green in the state government. And this morning I'll be talking about a title called Towards a Greener World, a Malaysia's Experience. And in this talk, I will be talking about what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages of going green, if any. And of course, we are here, as we have been doing in the past series as well, to encourage everyone to try their very best to contribute in this effort to go green. But first of all, of course, we need to know, what do we actually mean by going green before we look at the benefits and the disadvantages, if any. And with that as well, I would like everyone who have not gone into the effort of going green to consider taking the first steps. First of all, what do we mean by going green? I'm sure for the past few years, all of us have been exposed to the Going Green campaign, Go Green and Save the Earth. But this time, we are talking about going greener, meaning taking the extra effort. Of course, when we talk about going green, we're talking about the education aspect of it, where we have to educate ourselves as well as the community towards leading an environmental friendly lifestyle in terms of ecology, responsibility, and environmentally friendly. And this ultimately will assist us in saving our earth, going green. And of course, our main aim is to protect the environment, first of all, as well as to help the earth sustain the natural resources that we have for this generation as well as for the generations to come. This is very vital for us to keep in mind, that we are doing this not just for our generation, for our time, but the efforts that we are making will go a long way for our future generations, our children, our grandchildren. And when we talk about campaigns about going green, and like one of the campaigns is this very initiative taken by the State Human Resource Unit. This, we are talking about campaign to cover from awareness to education. After the awareness, we will talk about education. How do we educate our people towards this norm, this practice, and this habit? And then later on, once we have educated everyone, we are going to go into efforts of practices, putting it into practice and habits. And of course, from there we can go on to technologies. What are the technologies that we can adopt in our homes, at our workplace, as well as outside? Now, this will provide good alternatives, especially in sustaining efforts. Now, first of all, awareness and education. At home, we can start at the very home, because we can there encourage our family members, our children, to go towards the 3R habit, which is to recycle, reuse, and also reproduce. And this should be made a culture and a habit or a norm within the home first, because then we can bring it out into the public. Now, let us consider this. The simplest form that we can teach and educate our children would be to segregate waste. For example, if we are getting rid of glass bottles or plastics or paper, and also waste that can turn into fossils, we can tell them and educate them where these should go. They shouldn't go into the big bin altogether. So this is one way we can educate our children or the young ones at home. And of course, we have to encourage mass participation. It cannot be just an individual. It takes the effort of everyone in the community, and we have to dedicate ourselves without compromising our future generations' ability to then meet their own needs. For example, in the office, we can take efforts to perhaps reuse tissue boxes, to reuse mineral water bottles that have been used as containers, as probably for you to put in your pens and all that. Now, another question arises among all of us: why should we go green? What are the advantages, and if there are any disadvantages of going green? First, we'll look at the advantages. That's where I would like to elaborate more. When we talk about going green, we are talking about saving cost in the long run. Just imagine this: when you talk about electricity at home or in the office, which a lot of us have already adopted, using LED or energy-saving bulbs, and we can even educate ourselves to save water that we use from washing our dishes. If we can just recycle that and then put this into the flushes, the toilet flushes in our homes to start with, perhaps this can help us in terms of cost in the long run, where we can reduce our electricity and water bill. And we can also decrease environmental impact by recycling paper in the office, or nowadays a more popular move would be to perhaps recycle ink cartridges for your printer in the office, because with that you can actually conserve energy and also the natural resources that's needed to produce new cartridges. Therefore, you're talking about an energy saving of a very small proportion, but in the long run, we are looking at what it can do to our future generation. And we are also talking about the decrease in the release of toxic substances into the environment. Imagine if we have less waste in landfills, open burnings will be less, therefore pollution can be reduced. And of course, for corporations, it will provide a better public image if you have these campaigns, you use promotion materials with going green. You can be more appealing to customers and even investors and generate sales leads. However, some consider this an the disadvantage as well, where we talk about initial costs, the cost to be very high, where solar panels and hybrid vehicles might be very expensive to start up with. However, if you look at the long run, it is still more. Alright, and of course it can be time consuming when you talk about educating people and getting them into the habit of going greener. Therefore, to conclude, I believe that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages of going greener at this point of time, especially in our climate for Malaysia. Therefore, I would like to urge everyone to commit and always remember that small steps today can make an impact for tomorrow. That's what we're doing, going greener, the Malaysia perspective. Once again, thank you to all our distinguished guests for making the time to be with us here today. And thank you everyone for your attention. That ends my talk. Thank you.